down there has been an effusion of wrath in the U.S. of political community, celebrities, and humane rights groups above a paper approving the U.S. politics on sort acceptance could be modified. The changing would annul early politics that eased transport acceptance. Instead of, it would determine sort exclusively on the genital human beings are unborn in. The authority of ex-CEO Barack Obama adoptee a determination of sort in Fed politics that done it facilitating to enable person selection and personality determination. The Trump card authority has previous tested to coil behind transgender acceptance in areas such as the war and in schools, but it has not annotated on the newest paper. Activists terror the changes supposedly creature offered could in impact determine out of life Americans who now identification as transgender, a society who are told to quantity at low 1.4 millionth human beings. Transgender and sort non-confirming human beings include been dividing their private stories and answer to the paper with the hashtag number we won't be erased. The news story paper published by the New York Times on Saturday told a memorandum the paper had seen of the Division of Public Health and Humane Services, HHS, offered creation a legislative and flat determination of sex by Name 9, a Fed civilian rights law how outlaws sort discrimination. The paper alleges how the division argues the present absence of clearness permitted civilian rights protections to be unlawfully stretched to several individuals for the Obama authority. The offered changing would instead of indicate human beings as sex would be juridically flat as each man or woman by their genital sex tool a man's statute as man or woman relying on unchanging biologic traits recognizable by or up childbirth, the division offered in the memorandum, on to the Times. This sex list on a man's childbirth certification, as initially given, shall comprise final testimony of a man's sex except rebutted by safe gene testimony, the memorandum supposedly says. Not one of the Trump card authority has so far annotated on the accountable. The paper has engendered an irate answer of several human beings in and external of the U.S., consisting swathes of the LGBTQ society. Propaganda groups organized a demonstrate on Saturday night in New York and else outcry is plan external the White's building in Washington, D.C. on Monday night. In a episode of Tweets on Saturday, the Domestic Center for Transgender Equity outlined the changes as an filth and a foolish assault on transgender lives. Humane Rights Campaigning, one of the nation's guideline LGBTQ rights groups, told the changing would set a devastating precedence. President Chad Griffin outlined the estimated suggestion as this newest force in a consecutive, much-pronged campaigning by the Trump card Pence White's building, to erode the rights and well-being of LGBTQ human beings. Determining sex in the tight tongue adapted to the speaking points of against equality extremists is portion of a intentional policy to remove Fed protections for LGBTQ human beings, he went on. Members of the Transgender Society took to public print to outcry versus the suggestion, dividing private stories and selfies of themselves and household members with number won't be erased. Hollywood actor Susan Sarandon and Odd Eye celebrity Jonathan Van Cape were amongst such who tweeted, "Transport rights are humane rights." In supporting, Time Juno star Ellen Webb Page outlined the suggestion as terrible in an Instagram position. End of Instagram position by Ellen Page. Policy figures consisting Bernie Sanders and Chelsea Clinton as well united in denouncing the paper in the estimated offered changes.